Well, good evening. I'm Shadowscale Sev, the sassiest siren on YouTube. Welcome back to Shadowscale Studios. This is the 100th plus upload here on the channel, so I thought we'd finally do something different, something special. Apologies for the long absence and lack of uploads. I've been a bit hyper-focused on completing classes at Evergreen College, which, by the way, yes, I finished. It was an incredible experience, and for a lot of that time, we were locked out of this YouTube account. So posting all but stopped, and Chaos and I eventually started a new channel together called the Chaos Terminal. It was gonna be a mix of mermaiding and gaming content, but going forward, we're gonna keep the mermaiding stuff here and all of our gaming content over there, so it's a bit less confusing. We've gotten quite a lot of requests for mermaiding guides, and the last major poll we posted to the channel shows that that's what you witchy fishes want most in your black little hearts. So today, we're going to have a crash course and talk about what mermaiding is, how I got started, and how you can get started safely in the big wide world of mermaiding. We're going to cover a wide variety of topics, so whether you're brand new to mermaiding or a veteran, there's likely something here just for you. Now, swimming has always been a huge part of my life and has always been my favorite outdoor activity. Being born on the West Coast and then growing up in Texas, I had a ton of access to warm water, and once I finally discovered professional mermaiding back in 2016, it all finally clicked. So then, like, what is it? What is mermaiding? Well, strictly speaking, in the very simplest of terms, mermaiding is the act of putting on a mermaid tail and cosplaying, usually swimming, as some kind of mythical creature. A mermaid, merman, siren, selkie, pick your poison, that's it. Okay, so what is a mermaid tail, you ask? A mermaid tail is a piece of swimming equipment and is the primary mode of propulsion for merfolk. Keyword being equipment. It's not a toy or flotation device, it's equipment. They consist of usually two parts, a monofin and tail skin. Sometimes these are separate, with the monofin being removable, while other tails have them built in. So tails can be made out of a variety of different materials, often various swim fabrics or neoprene, and hybrid tails are mixes of the two. If you're willing to spend a little bit more, you can even invest in kitchen-grade to medical-grade silicone tails, and these are a hot commodity, especially in the professional merfolk community. Now, I discovered mermaiding through my sister-in-law, after coming across the image of Blaze Burlesque and a fiery red tail on Google. My sister-in-law happened to have a friend that was in the biz, and worked for a company called the Merfriends. We chatted and she hooked me up with an interview, and at the time they weren't offering training and didn't have extra tails. The ones they had were custom made for their current performers. But I was allowed to try out and borrowed a tail from one of the mermaids. She was much taller than me, and her tail came up to just below my nips. But hey, it worked. Hopping in the water and tail for the first time was honestly a life-changing experience, and I very literally burst into tears underwater. So I swam around and did well enough that I was encouraged to get my own tail and try out again once I did. That was kind of the only way that you could get into the business, was to already have your own equipment. Like, there wasn't really anyone that would have it provided for you. You had to do it all on your own back in the day. So I'm still not sure if they truly thought that I was gonna follow through with all of that, but I was hooked, and that did. I immediately ordered my first monofin and began training with that while saving for a fabric tail, which took me about a month, I think. Once that arrived, which was a fiery red and black little number from Magic Tail, a German company, and I maybe spent a little bit too much on my first fabric tail. I didn't know that FinFun existed at the time. Whoops. But anyways, I then got started saving for a custom silicone tail from Mernation, which in total probably took about a year. I was waiting tables at the time and picked up a few extra shifts And once that tail finally arrived, all green and black with tiger stripes, I reached back out to the mer friends and then got started in the business as a professional merman. So working with them was kind of awesome. We did all kinds of events, ranging from birthday parties, corporate events, Ren fairs, photo shoots, what you might think of now as your fairly standard professional mermaiding type of gigs. But back then, there were no official mermaid certifications or classes. Training was solely based in scuba or freedive, something like that, and then molded into performance and choreography. We did have a pirate class though, and that was fun. But before training for the Mer Friends, I had zero prior experience besides years of swimming at home or at the lake, and it took me a full year of hard personal training while working saving up for my own silicone tail before I was even able to try out. But I've been mermaiding both in a professional capacity and as a lifestyle ever since. So that all being said, I'm now a professional sea snake, trained freediver, lifeguard, swim coach, all with a bachelor's degree and well over 300 hours logged underwater. Plus I'm a witch, but that's a different video altogether. Overall, that's a decade of mermaiding under my belt by the date of this video release, and I've witnessed many, many, many types of mermaiding styles over those years. The information I'm presenting here is all thanks to the many teachers and inspirational merfolk I've met along my journey. I truly wouldn't be the merman I am without them. You know who you are. I love you. So I'm saying all of this because things have changed a lot, and it was way harder back in the day, and mermaiding was a lot less accessible back then than it is now. Fabric tails and fancy goggles were not allowed for professional performances, which meant you either had to buy a custom, make your own, or find a company willing to loan you theirs, and all three options could be anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000, depending on your taste. And professional merfolk, your silicone tail was, and kinda still is, very much an investment, and can potentially make a massive impact on your business. Finding reliable silicone tail makers was super rare at the time. Also, RIP your eyesight, as most pools were not, and kinda still aren't, properly regulating their chemicals, leading to chemical burns, random crying sessions, and increased risk of eye infections. Luckily, standards have changed over the years, and there is a lot more emphasis on safety and practicality over simply protecting the fantasy. Now, looking for training, we can finally get into the meat, right, of this guide. So these days, mermaid courses are kind of a dime a dozen, and you can find reliable trainers with just a little bit of networking and research. You'll want someone certified to teach with some kind of PADI certification, scuba, or freedive equivalent to start. There are mermaid, certifications now, so there's that. But swimming is mostly just about experience and confidence in the water, and there is a lot of overlap between different schools of swimming. So don't be afraid to explore different schools and try different things and see what works best for you, because you can always bring those skills back to mermaiding. There are also a lot of amazing merfolk here on YouTube that have some great resources on their channels, and while we're adding our own to that list, I'd recommend checking out the Magic Crafter. She is an amazing professional mermaid, a fellow goth, and one of the best online resource providers in the industry. Swim over and give her a channel a watch. You'll find the link below. So yeah, if you're new to mermaiding and inexperienced in the water, training and gaining that experience is the most important thing that you can be doing. Get active, get wet, but don't get hung up on a mermaid certification unless you're really just wanting that specifically. A lot of scuba, freedive, and sometimes even regular swim teachers are perfectly capable of teaching you the methods needed for mermaiding without costing you $700 for a class. I'd also suggest looking locally first and then branching out. If you're already trained and have lots of experience in water, Or maybe you're just, already have a tail and are looking to build community. I suggest just going to your local pool and swimming. You are very likely to just meet new friends naturally. Don't force the friendships, let them grow. You'll meet some people, it'll happen. Like, probably. Don't be weird. So, now that we know what mermaiding physically is, can anyone be a mermaid? Yes. And there are lots of ways to accomplish this dream. Can anyone swim as a mermaid or do it professionally? No. If you are not comfortable in the water and are not a strong swimmer, this unfortunately is not the sport for you. And please, for the love of Poseidon, make no mistake, there is a lot of work and effort that goes into mermaiding, especially behind the scenes. It is not just glitz, glam, and easy money. In fact, mermaiding is more likely to drain your bank account than fill it. The 3 questions I would ask are, what level is your current swimming skill? Do you have passion to put in the work to grow? And finally, who do you want to be? Like, what do you even want to do with it, right? If you just want to swim around and have fun, go for it. But you can do a lot with this. Go wild. There are conservation queens, hobbyist mers, merfolk models, rapping mermen, mermaid aerialists, pirate merfolk, and way, way more. Me? I'm a Mermonster. I make music videos, play games, cosplay, and I swim. I swim a lot. And I love monsters and kaiju and snakes and weird stuff. A little bit vampy, a little bit witchy, scales and tail all the way down. We gotta start the same way though, putting a monofin on our feet. So take the time to think about your passions and carefully craft the character that you would like to create. The more the more unique your style, the better. Don't compare yourself to other merfolk. Don't copy them. Sure as hell don't copy them. And don't give in to perfectionism. Practice is progress. You're gonna do just fine. Do your research as much as you can and trust yourself, but know your swim level and plan accordingly. There is no end amount of practice. There's never too much. So what are you specifically going to practice? Breath hold and dolphin kick. These are the bread and butter of mermaiding, and you're really not going to get too far without getting comfortable with uncomfortability underwater, and proper movement techniques too. You can practice your breath hold anywhere at any time, like Kegels, but if there's enough interest, I can put together a breath hold guide. Just let me know down in the comments if that's something that y'all are interested in. The dolphin kick can be practiced with or without a monofin. You just kinda gotta find a pool to practice this in full, but you can also practice this on land in a pinch. Simply kneel and hold your arms out, pressed to your ears, and extended ahead of you, moving in proper form as depicted. This also just works as an amazing stretch, helping with overall core mobility as well. Dolphin kick is the universal technique utilized by all merfolk, and anyone who uses a monofin is using this technique. Referred to as the dolphin kick, however, there should be no kicking at all in this form. Arms should either be loosely locked together with hands overlaid out in front of you, or flowing down at your sides. And the legs should be extended with toes pointed for maximum pulse. If you're unfamiliar and completely inexperienced, just start with a monofin, and then add to your look as you become more skilled. Do not rush out and buy a $6,000 45-pound mermaid tail and expect to be an expert if you've never even tried on a monofin. Baby steps, just be patient and be safe. Which brings us to a few rules when it comes to mermaiding, 3 in particular, and these are for veterans and novice alike. 1. No dead mermaids. Don't be stupid. Water is unpredictable and it takes 2 inches of the wet stuff to drown. 2. Minimize risk and maximize proper safety. And 3. Never swim alone. Period. Accidents are called accidents for a reason. I honestly don't care how good you think you are or how experienced you are. Don't ruin it for the rest of the community, and don't risk your life for a shot or just for a random swim. Your life is worth more, I mean, probably, but anyways, like, this isn't like count, like, if you have like a lifeguard, obviously, like, they count as someone watching you, but I still honestly recommend taking someone with you that is going to be doing the same thing that you're doing. You need to be focused on each other, paying attention. Anything can happen at any time. Once everybody is on the same page about like safety measures and who is doing what, yeah, move on to equipment. Like, it's inside all tails are what's called a monofin, and that is the hidden gem and super secret to all mermaiding. Picking your monofin is like choosing your wand and can drastically determine how functional you're able to swim and to what capacity you can take your mermaiding. Many mermaid tails, especially ones made from fabric, create drag as you go along, which makes it a lot harder to swim, plus you'll end up burning more energy and oxygen. A properly fitted monofin should fill out a majority of the flute, and for bigger tails, twin vinyl sleeves can be used with a monofin sandwiched between them to help fill out the shape. Vinyl inserts can be ordered from many tail companies or just on their own. But if you want to order and cut your own, I'd recommend 2 sheets of either 60 to like 80 gauge, 80 being like max on thickness for vinyl. Monofins are like bifins, but instead of having one little flappy bit on each foot, you have one big flappy bit in the middle of your feet. Each foot fits snugly into its own pocket like a bifin, but there's a single larger blade instead of two. So when swimming in proper dolphin form, the monofin acts as an extension of the body and a focus for the energy created by the body, wave. This channels the propulsion and creates a strong forward movement. Monofins should not be too tight on your feet and should be loose enough to kick off by quick release. There are also like foot booties that you can wear to help like fill them out or prevent rubbing of blisters. Quick release is an emergency tail ejection method where you use one heel to push the strap off of the opposite heel and then kick free, pushing the tail skin down and off in one calm but swift movement. All merfolk should have this down and be prepared to show a lifeguard or swim coach this method when approaching a pool or unfamiliar with tails, like anyone. All merfolk should be able to do this. A secondary method of doing this is to fold yourself backwards towards your tail and then to pop the heels off of your monofin with your thumbs, and then as you straighten back out, reach back up to your waist and pull the tail skin down as you straighten up. That's another like method that I've discovered and kind of worked out, that's not just using your heels. A lot of these skills, like the dolphin kick and using a monofin and quick release, they're compound skills, so they all kind of build on each other. So I recommend honestly practicing with just your body to start and get the feel. And when it finally clicks, you can start to add more to your costume and go faster. Remember not to fight the water, but to flow with it. Slow and steady movements will get you much further, and add to the graceful look of your swim too. Everyone wants to go fast at first, and by all means have fun, but if your proper technique is what you're trying to achieve, you're gonna want to take your time. So now that you've gotten your monofin and all that good stuff, now we're gonna choose the tail skin. So first off, no begging for a free tail. No begging for a free tail. No begging for a free tail. I'm honestly not gonna hold your fin when I say this. There are lots and lots of cheap tails and monofins out there readily available. Now when I say like cheap, I mean like not gonna break your bank. Ask for one for a birthday, like holiday, or save up your sand dollars like the rest of us. Mermaiding isn't what I'd consider a luxury sport, but it does take a lot of time, commitment, and at least a little bit of money to start. Even more so if you're trying to go the professional route. This is definitely not a sport that will bring you quick success, and the most successful merfolk have been practicing the craft and paving the way for the rest of us for like 10 to 20 years. Tails used to be like super hard and extremely hard to find. Now they're everywhere, and many are not safe to swim in, like, at all. Fabric mermaid tails are made with specific types of swimmable material that most knockoff companies don't invest in. Legit tail makers will put a ton of time and research into what they make, and it really shows when the tails are compared side by side, and even more so in the water. A seasoned mer can clock a knockoff tail from a mile away, and we generally know what to look for, but unfortunately, there's a lot of new merfolk in the community, and many people don't know the difference or what to look for, and we've seen a massive swell of knockoffs within the past year or so. Fabric in these tails are often not swimmable material and won't have proper zippers. And often knockoff tails don't come with a monofin at all. Like, I've seen tails, and you're not told that you need a monofin on a lot of these websites. Like, you're just, oh, here's a tail skin, go put it on and swim. That's dangerous. They're not going to perform the same way in water and can have really negative ballooning effects as well that can make swimming especially dangerous. Drag is also heightened in these tails, and while, again, you might think yourself a strong swimmer, no swimmer should have to fight against the water and their equipment. Like, you shouldn't have to be fighting what you're wearing. That's ridiculous. So when choosing a tail skin, you're gonna wanna make sure that the fabric is in fact swimmable material. You're gonna wanna make sure that the tail maker is legit, because a lot of the knockoff tails might look pretty, or just like that one expensive one that you saw that one time. They are not. They're not just unsafe, but many designs are stolen from other artists. Buy from reputable tail makers, and here's a list just for fabric tails, though some of these tail makers also have silicone options. FinFun, Narrate Studios, Suntail, Magic Tail, Cape Cali, Mertailor, Finfolk Productions, Mermaid Lucia, LaDonna Mermaid, Myrtleful Mermaid, Courtney Mermaid, Moonsong Magic, and more. Many of these companies will have regular sales and discount codes that can further lessen the cost. Take the time to do your own research, and do not buy any tails from companies like Amazon or eBay if they don't have a parent company backing them. If you are seeing a really fancy tail for a super low price, it's very likely a scam. Same goes for tails you might find in grocery stores. I've seen plastic monofins in a grocery outlet. I wish I were kidding. This does, however, come with a caveat, as some of these legit companies like FinFun and Body Glove for monofins are outsourcing and selling their tails under these other business umbrellas. However, there is usually some kind of link to the main producers, and I'd recommend buying from them instead. You never really know what you're gonna get when buying online, and from my own personal experience, I really recommend supporting the actual business, especially small local businesses whenever possible, and only reaching out to other tail makers like further out when necessary. Okay, once you've obtained your tail and monofin and all that good stuff, now it's finally time to go to the pool. So for packing and pool gear, I'm somewhat of a minimalist when it comes to my general mermaiding looks, especially just for swim practice. So what I take is a pretty short list. Must-haves include a waterproof bag, 2 towels, swimsuit, monofin, and goggles. The type of bag, towels, and swimsuit are up to you, though I recommend something with comfort and full range of movement. If wearing a tail, bikini bottoms or a Speedo style suit are hands down the best options. I carry a giant blue and gray bag that's waterproof. Oh, and the zipper is broken, so it doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to work. Why 2 towels? One for you and one to soak up some of that excess water, and that shit gets heavy, trust me. Silicone tails hold less water overall than fabric tails, but it will likely still need its own towel. For goggles, I really don't like to debate their use, especially for practice. If the pool is not salt water and heavily monitored for chemicals, wear goggles. My eyesight and yours will never be worth losing for a look, and there are lots of ways to make goggles presentable for performance. The choice of company for goggles are completely up to you, but just at least wear them for your own sake. For the optional things to take to the pool, I'd recommend obviously your tail skin, an underwater camera, any accessories, nose plugs, shampoo, conditioner, and an underwater speaker if you have it. For professional mer, I do recommend practicing in tailskin, not just a monofin, as it does actually make a difference in movement and drag. If taking a camera to a pool or anywhere that is not public property, you must get permission from everyone that might be captured in the shot ahead of time. Do not record anyone without their consent ever, period. A lot of the times while filming, you may capture people coming into the shot and all of that. That's natural, that's gonna happen. But if you're going into a space that has people already in it and you're filming, you gotta make sure that everyone is, at least consenting to that. If you're needing specific shots for a photo shoot idea, I'd recommend simply renting space for a photo session or just coordinating with the lifeguards to find the slowest traffic days and coordinating your shoots around those times. Recording your swims and watching them back at the very least can be incredible for your personal growth. Not only does this give you some pretty fantastic content and memories, it allows you to see how you actually move in the water. This allows you to make minor adjustments or change movements as necessary, and you can always try new tricks and see how they look. You can find GoPros and underwater phone cases pretty easy these days, but I would definitely recommend looking for a sale. If you can manage to find some kind of underwater speaker as well, I also find that swimming to music is a magical experience. If you need a personal diving speaker, I'd recommend the Sonar. It's a tiny little circle that has a USB hookup and it attaches to the back of your goggles, a wig, hide up inside of it, or even your swim cap. You can Bluetooth music from your phone or add songs directly onto the device, and there are multiple volume settings, plus it can fit inside your pocket as well. So remember, whatever equipment you end up taking with you, regardless of whether it's to just a swim or to an event, you have to take all of that back home with you, wash it, dry it, keep it from mildewing, store it, and that ends up being an entire process all on its own. I'll probably do an entire video just dedicated to that process and how I do it, but that will come at a later date. So now that we've kind of discussed what to look for and kind of how to get started, I'm going to discuss my preferred companies. Now, for mermaiding specific equipment, it's going to be both beginner and veteran friendly, dependable, and it shouldn't break the bank too badly. For monofins, it's hands down the Body Glove by Mermaid Linden. There are two sizes, child and adult, and it has the most propulsion for the price, and is currently my favorite monofin to date. This will cost from $60 to $70 USD, and it has replaceable straps, along with several color options, my personal favorite being the gray and black. For folks with a bit wider and bigger feet, I recommend the Hydra monofin by Mermaid Cat. This one is a bit more forgiving in the feet than the Body Glove, but the blade has more flop to it, so keep that in mind when pairing it with a fabric tail. Flop is amazing, but you definitely should lean more on propulsion. I believe cost-wise, this monofin is comparable to the Body Glove, though it comes from Australia, so shipping might be a bit of a factor. Silicone tails help create their own push, so a floppier monofin isn't as noticeable inside them, but you will definitely notice if your monofin is too floppy in a fabric tail. For beginner fabric tails, I definitely recommend FinFun and Narrate Studios. Both of these companies have a mildly wide variety of tail colors and styles, with a very competitive price point for the quality of tail that you're getting. FinFun is basically unmatched in its affordability, though their tails can sometimes be on the thinner side. They did release a new tailmaker app that allows people to design their own tails within their shapes and stuff, and it has quite a few options, and it's really cool, so I gotta give them a little bit of a point for that. Their tails range from about 50 to 60 USD for standard tails to around 500 or more for a fully custom Elite, which is frankly a steal. I do not recommend the base monofin available with FinFun. They are pretty useless compared to Body Glove, and with a similar price point, I would recommend just skipping that one entirely. They do have an advanced monofin, but I've not tested that one myself, so I can't give my opinion until I do. I do not believe that Narrate Studios currently has monofins available on their website, but if they I believe they would probably recommend the Mahina, which I do not currently have either, but I am working to get my hands on one of those. So Narrate Studios tails are a little bit more in the middle to higher end, with thicker fabric, added vinyl inserts, or at least they're available, and therefore it's kind of a higher base cost. But their tails are overall much more hardy, reliable, and on the lower end of the cost spectrum, like generally for tails. They're overall much bigger in general, with large flukes and really lovely fins. They did put out an announcement earlier this year saying that they're looking at adding more designs to their shop soon, and we're all incredibly excited about that. We love Narrate Studios so much here at Shadowscale Studios, and their tails are fabulous. We are just a little bit needing some new designs. The colors are fabulous, but we need some new fluke shapes. Let's go, Narrate! If you're looking for something a little bit warmer in the water and a lot more sturdy, my vote is hands down going to go to Narrate Studios. Professionally, the tails photograph and video beautifully underwater. There is the issue of the open bottom fluke and buttons can somewhat detract from the look. So the bottoms are open instead of closed, and they're closed with buttons. Really don't show up too much, but up close and in certain pictures with high, definition cameras, they definitely can show. They're great tails to train in for sure, and again, much warmer in the water, so I love them. Both of these tail makers do have options with open bottom fluke, I believe, which makes the monofin getting, in and out of your tail much easier. And often fabric tails will have zippers for monofin installations on the side. Majority of silicone tails have the monofins built into them, but these days, tail makers like I Am Braver and other tail makers that use the thinner kitchen-grade silicone have been doing open bottom flukes as well for silicones for easier monofin installation. Oh, holy fish. Okay, so we're like at over 30 minutes and we still got more to go. So like this fish gotta swim, birds gotta eat. This fish would also like to eat, so swim over and smash the subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit the bell. The algorithm daddy loves it, and it lets YouTube know that you enjoy this content and you want to see more. If you're a gamer like us, be sure to check out our sister channel, The Chaos Terminal, for all our gaming shenanigans. We play LEGO Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, various vampire games, and lots more. The link's definitely down below. For advanced equipment and merfolk who are strong swimmers and looking to invest in maybe a high-end quality fabric or silicone tail, my recommendations are, and not in any particular order, Mernation, Fin Painter, Mermaid Cat Shop, Creature Fins, Finfolk Productions, Mertailor, Moonson Magic, Courtney Mermaid, Dimitri Arts, and I Am Braver. There are lots more out there, but these are a big chunk of the ones that I'm familiar with and that I would trust as a brand. If you have a preferred tailmaker that didn't make it to this list, just put them down below. So all of these tailmakers are going to have different designs, different tailmaking processes, but they're all going to provide extremely high-end fabric or silicone art. And these kind of tails are super well made. They're usually handcrafted and are very much worth the price. Creating a tail like this takes a ton of time and effort and a lot of skill, and usually they're more durable than fabric tails, which makes them last a lot longer. That's, also why they're seen as an investment. Depending on the tail maker, they can either take, anywhere from a month, which is just over a year to create in total, and sometimes can cost anywhere from $600 to $7,000 or more. It really just depends on the overall design and construction of the tail. So now we've gotten our equipment, we have our bag of stuff. Where are we going to swim? Finding a place to practice can be a little bit dicey. I honestly do not recommend inexperienced swimmers practicing in anything but like a pool with lifeguards. Open water, whether it be a lake, river, or ocean, carry a lot of unknown risks with them and can be super unpredictable. There could be dangerous elements like current, slow visibility, drastic temperature changes, harmful bacteria, broken glass, other unseen debris that you can get snagged on. While it might be tempting to swim on over to your local watering hole the second your new tail arrives and give it a try, please don't. especially if you're a beginner. Even if you're a seasoned vet, though, it's really not worth it, and again, this puts other merfolk and the entire community at risk. So you're going to want to check your local community pools, your YMCAs, aquariums, or pay your neighbor for some pool time if they have one. You can often even find a hotel with a pool and book a room for the night. These usually don't have rules against tail use, as most hotels are a swim at your own risk type situation anyways, so you honestly might be surprised at what you could discover in that, community. Only when you are well practiced and confident in a pool, maybe then upgrade and branch out to, swimming outside sources. Patience and pool time for beginners, honestly, that's the key. This can be a challenge, I admit, for many merfolk depending on your location and the availability of pools, especially in northern climates like Washington. We don't have a whole lot of tails up here in my area that are tail friendly, so finding ones and keeping good, repertoire with those pools is extremely important. So I'm going to reiterate this yet one more time, but whether you're swimming in open water, a performance aquarium, or just a pool for practice, please take a friend or at least have a lifeguard. Water is always unpredictable, and taking safety into account first makes sure everyone can have a good time. Making friends can also be super intimidating in this community, and planning events can be tedious as hell. But it's worth it. Don't wait for everyone else to plan something, be the trailblazer, and blaze. When you're approaching a potential pool for mermaid practice, leisure, or basically anything involving outside equipment, you want to take that equipment and go talk to them in person if at all possible. Don't send an email first, don't call them first, go in person, especially if it's, a reasonable distance. Oh my god, why in person? And all that gear and the tail too, isn't that heavy? Absolutely, yes, it is. But there are many pools that have never heard of mermaiding and will say no over the phone or to an email because they don't have a proper idea what you mean or what they're dealing with, and it's just easier for them. Pools can allow or deny tail access for literally any reason and can change their minds at any time. So it is up to us to show up with the proper equipment and respectfully educate when necessary. During my second year here at the college in Olympia, I got permission to swim at the Evergreen Pool. Our tuition paid for the pool, a beautiful 14-foot banger of a pool, sparkling cold and deep. While we were able to enjoy it for a couple of months, they had to change their policies due to a lack of lifeguards, and they didn't have a pool manager, so that's pretty important. And unfortunately, we had to respect that. We did get a lot of amazing footage in our tails, and we enjoyed the experience while we were there. But again, we had to take the bad with the good, and unfortunately, the pool is completely closed now, last I heard. So if you have your tail on you and you go in person, you can show them your equipment and even offer to demonstrate a swim test. A little bit of effort goes a very long way, and a lot of them are willing to work with you, especially if you show them a bit of patience, kindness, and determination. Also, once you have a community of people that you're swimming with, don't wait for the other merfolk to plan swims. Invite them to your event. Show the initiative and you'll find people meant for you. Everybody wants to go to a swim, but nobody really wants to plan the swims because that's kind of the hard part. Which now brings us to mermaiding etiquette. So, my friend and I were recently approached by our favorite lifeguard about a certain local mer who had shown up to the pool and decided not to listen to pool rules, and on top of it was also very rude to him. He assured us that though we were goldfish, he also asked if this was typical merfolk behavior. We assured him that it was definitely not and let him know that we would pass along the message. Long story short, you're representing more than just yourself when you show up to a pool with a tail, whether you like it or not. Show each other some respect and grow some dignity. Under no circumstances should you be rude to other merfolk, pool personnel, or lifeguards especially, and this is the fastest way to get tails banned and get you blacklisted in your local mermaid community. Whether you are a beginner or a veteran merfolk, you should be kind and courteous to other people in the community. It's based around magic and transformation, for God's sake. It is one of the most diverse communities, and people come from all walks of life. This doesn't mean you have to be friends with every mermaid that you meet, but it does mean that while you're in the same space, you share it respectfully. Feel absolutely free to block anybody and not swim with anybody that makes you feel uncomfortable, is homophobic in any way. Just don't mess with any of that. There are a lot of people like that in the community. Steer very clear, and you'll know very quickly. And just pay attention. Don't feel obligated to swim in spaces or with people that you feel are unsafe, and don't let people pressure you. Last but not least, do not, and I repeat, do not get caught up in the mermaid drama. There's a lot of it, and there's a difference between talking facts and talking trash. And some of y'all, quite honestly, need to learn that difference. Not every acquaintance is your bestie. Be careful and stay observant. Protect your peace and your art. Also your friends, you know. Just like any other fandom, merfolk come with big tails and even bigger egos. Stay true to who you are and who you want to be. Don't compete with other artists, and don't fuck with cliques. If something feels uncomfortable, it probably is. Trust your body, learn to trust your intuition, hone your own skills, and don't let someone charge you an arm and a leg to teach you something you can easily learn on your own or for free. People will try to take advantage of you if you let them. There are predatory companies like Aqua Mermaid, for instance, who prey on young merfolk looking to break into the business. Steer clear of the bottom feeders. You're gonna find your community, you're gonna grow, and it's gonna be amazing. And that, my dear fangbangers, is how the turn tides. We have covered a buttload of information, and if you made it this far in the video, drop a dragon emote in the comments, along with any questions you might have. Like, subscribe, and thank you for joining us at Shadowscale Studios. See ya! Okay. 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 Well, I'm glad you asked that.